everybody, guess what? I have 3 finishes. Welcome to my porch. We are here to discuss the joys of needlework. My name is Stephanie Webb and I am the designer behind Lindy Stitches. You can find my work at lindystitches.com. It is my great joy to design cross-stitch patterns that make people happy. Back here on YouTube to have a nice little stitchy chat. Welcome to my front porch. I hope that you can hear my friends chittering and chattering to each other in the trees. I personally like it when people film outside and I can hear their bird friends, although I always wonder about the unusual sounds that I'm not used to hearing. So you're probably hearing common Midwest birds such as robins, finches, crows. We really have not much that's exotic, and it just started sprinkling, so we might move inside at some point. I don't know. Might be fine. Maybe the sound of rain will also be relaxing. I think my favorite bird is the mourning dove. They are so adorable and so sweet, and so they move so funny and awkwardly. I love them, and there's a great population of them here in my suburb, and they love to sit on the peaks of the houses and just do their little sad coos. So in the evenings you can hear a lot of them cooing from the tops of the houses. It's really lovely in my opinion. Here I am. I feel like it has been a long time since we talked, and I don't like that. I do feel a little bit awkward, and I have started this video over once. Don't particularly want to do it again, so I'm going to try to be easy on myself. One of the things that makes videos hard for me to do is that I am very critical. I mean, I think it's important to be careful in what you say, but I just take it to too far of a level, if you know what I'm saying. So the most exciting thing is that I have 3 finishes. I have new starts. I have no new releases to share with you, but I had 3. I released a bunch of stuff at Needlework Expo, which I showed you in my last video here on the channel, so if you're interested in my spring line, you can check that out. But thank you for your enthusiastic welcome to Jackalopian Tapestry, Edna Goes to Brunch, and Hedgehog House. I sincerely appreciate it. Hedgehog House has a very active and quickly moving stitch along on Instagram hosted by the Brick City Stitchers. Hey, Steph. Wrong city. Steel City Stitchers. Get it right. And I think it's the only sale that I've seen where people are starting and finishing like within a week, because that's how small Henrietta Hedgehog is. So if you'd like to check their finishes out, you can head on over to Instagram and look at this hashtag. Thank you to those crafty people for hosting that stitch along, and thank you to all you who have joined. I think it's really fun. I don't know, maybe I don't see every stitch along in the world, but it's really fun to see like start, middle, finish. Woo! Complete. So there are 3 more seasonal abodes coming your way, summer, fall, and winter. So just prepare yourself for those. But before we begin showing you my finishes, I want to wish a very happy birthday weekend to Paula, Cindy, Kimberly, Renate, Sonia, Carol, Stacy, Kathy, Bernadette, Beverly, Lynette, and Marla. Happy birthday! I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, counting your blessings and being thankful and treating yourself. Like, partay. Insert party music here. How do I know it's their birthday? Well, If you've added your birthday to your newsletter subscription with me, I will send you a birthday gift to your email. And I'm a huge proponent of birthdays. I try to keep as many birthdays on my calendar and celebrated as I can, so this is my little way. I have 800 of your birthdays, but I have thousands of newsletter subscribers. So it's actually a very small percentage of you that I know what your birthday is. If you would like to tell me when yours is, please enter it into your subscription, which you can do that in the subscribe to my newsletter link. It will just update you if you're already subscribed to my newsletter. I send out this gift, and a lot of times I get a reply. People that open it on their birthdays will reply to say thank you, and then I can double wish them a happy birthday. I tried to reply 2 replies. It's a birthday vortex of happiness, and it makes me happy, like on an ordinary day, to wake up and look at my email and see, it's not an ordinary day, it's this person's special birthday. And enough about birthdays. Party it up if it is your birthday weekend. Without further ado, and I don't know why I suddenly got very blown out. Without further ado, I'd like to show you my finishes. We're going to go smallest to biggest, but I stinking love all 3. First up is Halloween Squirrel by the Blue Flower. And tell me that's not the cutest Halloween pattern you've ever seen in your life. So last fall was Dracula fall for me. I released my own Dracula pattern, and so I don't know when Halloween Squirrel was released, but I just wasn't done with Dracula, so I had to start Halloween Squirrel, and now it is finished. It is the sweetest little thing, and I love it. And yes, I added I did it with the called for colors. I stitched on 32 count Sandcastle Jobelin, which, if you like even weave, is a nice sort of hand-dyed looking fabric. The only alteration I did was I gave the count a tooth. What do you think, Jeannine? That was my husband's suggestion. I showed him this, and he's like, that's cute. I was like, it's Dracula Squirrel. He's like, well, he doesn't have a tooth. And I don't know that I particularly put it in the right place. I don't know. It looks a little derpy, but you know what? I'm a fan of derpy, and I think this is adorable. This was the piece that I taught myself to stitch in hand. It was a nice piece to work on for that purpose, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about my experience learning to stitch in hand toward the end of this video. Here's my medium size finished. I saw this piece in Elizabeth Ann Ken Stitch's March Madness lineup. It was one of the finalists, I think. Was it? I don't know. I was like, I really need to pull that out and finish it. So, Elizabeth Ann, here's you motivated me. I'd like to motivate you, because look at this. This is After the Roses by Ink Circles in the called for colors. I stitched it on 28 count Arbor by Picture This Plus. Arbor is a really, really light pink, and it has these green splotches. Although, truth be told, you cannot really even see them very well once you stitch over it. Like, there's a splotch here. I don't know aesthetically if the splotches really do much, or whatever, but it's pretty. It's lovely. It is deceptively a lot of work because of all the color changes. And I didn't know how well finishing it in hand would go. Oh, there's neighbors. I'm gonna pause. Self-conscious much? Yes. Yes, I am. Okay. I didn't know how well stitching this in hand would go because it is such small sections of color, and I was down to like these corners where there's these little tiny sections of color, but it went okay. Yeah, it went fine, and I finished it up. It is glorious, and I cannot wait to get it framed. One of the things that also motivated me to finish this is I do not have a lot of spring or summer finished stitches, and it's never really bothered me, but now that I have a larger house with more wall space, and then there's like nothing to swap out after Christmas is over, and I don't know, I was like, I want to put flowers everywhere. I want to celebrate spring, and I mean, this is a great start. For sure. Although now I do have my Jackalope and Edna up, so that's nice. I loved stitching this. And I think my favorite of the bunch, finish number 3, which I had ironed, but then I was kind of leaning on it, so it's wrinkly again. This is Dame's Boarding School by Exemplar Dames. And I love this so much, I feel like it was made for me. I did this in all of the called for colors, except I did swap out 1 week's dye works. The blue is supposed to be Kentucky Bluegrass, and I used Peacock by The Gentle Art, and they're almost the same. The floss I used is more blue than Kentucky Bluegrass, but I adore this. This is so wonderfully funky and weird that, truth be told, like, I sometimes struggle with projects and feeling confident in the colors, especially if I'm changing things around, until I get a lot of the palette into the thread, and until I've used a lot of the colors and really seen how, like, they're all gonna jive together. So honestly, I felt weird about this project, like, for the first half, because it looks weird. I don't know. I was just like, how is this gonna turn out? But look at, I mean, shebang. It looks amazing. The picture on the front feels way off. You can see the grass in the picture. It looks light green and yellow. And that is not what Weeks Dye Work Hosta, which is what the grass is supposed to be, looks like at all. It looks way better in person. I was really tempted to change it because it is a wacky floss, especially to use for grass. And I was like, okay, try it out. If you don't like it, you can rip it out. And it is wacky. Look at it. It's totally wackadoo. But I love it. I love it. Look at that dinosaur turtle and the funky birds. I just love the funky colors. This is so glorious. This is 36 count XJU Designs fabric and farm eggs. That is a color that is exclusive to Kitten Stitcher. It is almost exactly the same as Grandpa's Sleeve by XJU Design. It's got the big splotches, only it's almost exactly the same, only it's a tiny bit warmer, and it doesn't have the yellow splotches that Grandpa's sleeve has. It's a really, really nice color. Those are my 3 finishes. My pile of shame got significantly bigger. So on the heels of 3 finishes, I did have a new start. I'll show you that now. This is a piece that I have pulled out to possibly start in Stitchsania, which is coming up. People want to join me for Stitchsania? It is the alternative to Stitchmania, where you don't start a million things. You stay responsible during the week and then start things on the weekend. So we need to start planning for that. I will be putting up a planning for Stitchsania video up here shortly, but if you want to know more about Sania, you can go back to my video last year where I talked about it. A lot of people joined me last year. I'm going to do it again this year. It's going to be great. Really quickly, all I do is I pick a piece that I really need to make some progress on or want to start some progress on. I set a goal for the week, like eat your vegetables, work on this older whip, and then on the weekend I start something new. So you end up with 4 new starts. It's not too crazy. And you feel responsible. I'm all about feeling responsible. I started Folk House by Not Forgotten Farm. I've wanted to start this for a long time. The fill-in is what has kept me from starting this. But my attitude and my perspective on large chunks of color has completely changed night and day. We're going to talk about that in the stitching in hand section. But of course, I mean, there's 2 cats. There's a lady in a dress. This is my house. I was very tempted to change the colors, but I was like, no, look at that. That's amazing. The charted colors don't really match the photo. And I printed out a bigger photo. Where did it go? But it doesn't really match either. Here's the bigger photo. I'm going to try to match my floss colors to the photo. And I started it on a mint because honestly, mint is my neutral and there's threads everywhere. But here's where I am. So nothing exciting yet. I'm going to do the responsible thing and outline the rooms before I fill them in. And you know I'm going to make those cats look like my cats. So that's going to be a very fun piece. Excited about that. Since then I have started a couple models, which is unusual for me. I did stitch, like so far of the things that have been released this year, I stitched Jackalopian Tapestry. My other models, my wonderful model stitchers did for me, and I, as much as I can, use model stitchers. It's better for my workflow. It's better for my enthusiasm for the projects. And I absolutely love the people that model stitch for me. I love working with them. They're wonderful people. And yeah, but I designed one thing that I feel very picky about. And so I'm going to stitch that. And I designed another thing. I decided not to bring it out here to show you. That honestly, I just love so stinking much. I had to stitch it. I had to. The color palette is out of this world. I have never been so like proud of a color palette. That sounds like a really weird thing to say, but it's going to be amazing. So I've started those things too. I've been enjoying my craft, and I've needed it. I've needed it. Okay, next I would like to show you the things that I've worked on but didn't finish. Which is one thing, because most of my stitching time was taken up with finishing those projects. I don't normally show my project bags, but this is from Tara, the 805 stitcher, and fabric. Okay, here's one thing I did learn. Fabric is a black hole, and I fell into it in the last couple months. I fell hard. If you like cute things, you like art, you like colors. If you like colors, please don't look at fabric on Etsy. Just don't. Your wallet will cry. Almost finished, but not quite yet, is Sheep May Safely Graze by Homespun Elegance. I am stitching this on 32 count vintage country mocha, which is so nice in hand. I'm picking my own colors, and here's where we're at. I made mistakes. I made a mistake in this pattern, and you know the thing about mistakes and fudging them, sometimes it's an easy process and sometimes you just don't realize how much fudging will lead to more fudging. I fudged the border. This side is like, there's too many stitches here, so this side is too far this way, and then I tried to fix it with like this golden thing and didn't get that one exactly right, and so in the end you're not going to be able to tell, but it has been like a fudgy process. I am not going to be able to fit this house right there because I have less space going on. So I think I'm going to just make up a littler house and stick it there. And then I'm going to have to alter the wording just like a couple stitches, so that's another thing. And I still have this sheep, you stitch him, and then using Whisper, you do eyelets all down his fur, his wool. Do you call it wool fur? I'm not sure how hard that's going to be. I don't particularly enjoy eyelets, but considering they're in Whisper and there's so many of them, hopefully, like, if they're messy, it's just supposed to look like wool, right? So, could be fun. This piece is really small. It's funny. I 90% of the time look at a pattern and I underestimate how big it is. Like, oh, that's not that big. This one I overestimated, and it's not a very big piece. Someone has joined us for the second half of our video. Say hi to Willoughby. So let's talk about the giveaway from last video. I was giving away a piece of fabric, the Mint Splash Lugana that Edna Goes to Brunch is charted on, and the Country Diary collection. And the winner of the giveaway is RC Craftyland. So if you could get in contact with me, I commented back on your comment on my last video. This week I would like to give away one of my Kelmscott Designs scissors. These are called the Putford scissors, and look how awesome they are. I love funky things, and these would definitely qualify. They have the largest finger holes, and at the same time the daintiest little blades you've ever seen. So if you would like to win a pair in the color of your choice, they come in all the colors. I have them in my shop. They're just They're so cute. I would like you to tell me your favorite bird down below. I already told you mine. Tell me your favorite bird and you will be entered. You can live anywhere. Please be over 18. The regular giveaway rules don't say giveaway. Tell me your favorite bird down below and you can have a pair of one of these adorable scissors. So next up I have something that is on my radar to start. I have some haul, and then I'm just going to talk a little bit about my favorite things, if you would like to stick around for that. So, on my next up to start list, and this might get pushed to Stitch Sania, I kind of hope not, because I just want to start this, is Elizabeth Isles. I'm going to say Isles, what do you think? I've taught him to read. What do you think? I don't know. Okay. He's been huge into the window. Of course, he has not been alive for window season when we can have windows open, and unfortunately, windows open season here does not last very long, but he is living his best window life. He is in the window all the time, and I find it adorable, because Walter is too fat to fit in the window. So I haven't had like a window dwelling cat in quite some time. My past cats always loved sitting in the window, but it's just fun, especially because he likes to sit in the window in my bedroom, which is by the driveway. So when you come home, I don't know, there's just something about seeing a cat in the window, sitting there, ready to see you. It's really nice. So anyway, back to the subject of this wonderful, wonderful sampler. I find this sampler to be funny. The angels are very weird and hilarious. I don't know how well this is focusing, but they have like saggy forearms, which, you know, I can relate with, totally relate with. They have really weird faces, and there's a ton of them. I think this is great. And then the giant bird, which is called a geode bird, and the sampler says it features a geode parrot, a distinctively styled bird that appears on other samplers made in England, America, and Netherlands. And if you've looked at enough samplers, you've probably seen these strange birds before that look like a geode, if you know what a geode is. Anyway, they're kind of cool. I kind of want to design one in that style just because it's weird and funky. And the sampler saying is, "All you my friends who now expect to see a piece of work thus performed by me, cast but a smile on this, my mean endeavor. I'll strive to mend and be obedient ever. Elizabeth Isles, aged 9 years, March 1799. I have another quote picked out for this, and I'm excited about it. So I want to start that. I'm going to show you the fabrics I have pulled. Here are the colors. Not the called for, but pretty much I just rematched them to overdyes that I have. This is mostly Gentle Arts. And I mean, look at that periwinkle blue, because in my mind this is the periwinkle angel pants sampler because of the periwinkle angel pants. So I might just do this. I might just do Vintage Country Mocha, because I cannot express how wonderful it was to stitch with this in hand. And I want to stitch more projects on it. Okay. Yeah, see? The colors look really nice on that. What do you think? Yes? But I also have Picture This Plus Sand, which is lighter pulled, and Bramble. I don't know. I might just be easy on myself and do the Vintage Country Mocha because it's much easier to stitch in hand than Picture This Plus. The one project I could not stitch in hand, and I've tried a couple times. I am getting so blown out. What is the deal? Let's play the Fix Your Lighting game. There we go. Okay, whatever. What was I saying? Oh, I have Huckleberry Farm, and I am stitching that on Haunted by Picture This Plus, which is a darker blue, and it's a 36 count, and I cannot see it well enough. I haven't been able to finagle it yet, but that's a challenge for another day. So anyway, Elizabeth Isles is on my list to start hopefully soon. It's gigantic. It is gigantic. I thought it was small. It's not. On 32 count, it's going to be 14 inches by 16 7/8, which is huge. Stitch count is 224 by 270. I did not think this was that big. But what can you expect when you're stitching 32 angels with saggy forearms? Like, that takes up a lot of space. Am I right? Am I right? Don't eat the screen. Next up, some haul. I've never stitched a Hand Across the Sea sampler before, but this might be my first. I adore it. I mean, can you see the similarities with the sampler I just finished? It's got the house, it's got the crazy colors, it's got the birds hanging out. There's a cat over here. I mean, this is so cute, and this is a dog that looks over one. I will tell you though, the one thing that subconsciously draws me to this sampler is that I see my last name in here, even though it's not. Isn't that funny? My last name is Webb. It doesn't say Webb, but my brain, when it first glances at it, sees Webb. Because you know how when you see like letters that usually go together that you use a lot, your brain plays tricks on you. Moving on. I've wanted this for quite some time. This is Phoebe's Forest by the City Stitcher, and the picture is really small. It's wonky deer with trees, and it has satin stitched flowers on it. It's really cute and sweet, and my daughter's name is Phoebe, so I think that's what has always drawn me to this chart. It's really cute. Anybody have this? I feel like doing a stitch along. The problem is I am a designer, so I'm always focused on, you know, getting my designs going and up and stuff, and then I don't know. Bless This Home by Cottage Garden Samplings. I mean, it's wonderful. I wouldn't write Bless This Home. I'd write something else, but other than that, this is pretty much the perfect chart. And then, because I need more spring population of cross stitch on my walls, I got this. It is Fast Food by Madame Chantilly. I really like Madame Chantilly's patterns, and this is just so stinking cute. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about stitching in hand, and then I would like to just have some chatty time. Apparently, Willoughby also wants to have chatty time. What do you want to tell the people? What? What? Yeah. He's very, very talkative. borderline a bit frustrating sometimes because he's just like meowing, and it seems like he's meowing for like no reason. He's just walking around spreading gossip, his political opinions. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's very loud. He's very loud. Okay, so stitching in hand always felt very awkward to me. I was kind of mad that I had tennis elbow, could not two-handed stitch with a frame the way I like, and thought, you know what, I am fast. And I don't care what you stitch-in-handers have to say that you're so much faster. There's no way. Because look how fast I can go. Well, 2 months later, and I'm gonna stick my big old foot in my mouth because it is faster. I finally cracked the curve, the learning curve, and I can't believe how much faster stitching in hand really is. But I had to go through 2 months of mentally figuring it out. Rows, especially blocks of color, yeah, they're way faster. Skipping around, I'm still working on getting a little bit faster, but I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing. But you do have to work through that initial, I don't like this, I am being slow. It's almost like you're starting over. Which is uncomfortable, and which is what always prevented me from practicing stitching in hand, is that you are slow and you are awkward and you will feel a little bit dumb at the beginning. Like I said in my last video, I literally had to write out on my pattern like which way my X's usually lie, because I would mentally get so confused about where my needle went next that I would start doing my stitches backwards. So yeah, if you look at that Halloween squirrel under a microscope, it's a mess. But no one is going to look at it under a microscope. Literally no one is going to look at it and see the stitches that go the wrong way. No one. Including myself. Yes, so thank you to those of you who offered personalized help. I will mention Diana, It Is Kismet, Kyle Reckemeyer, and Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. I do believe they were all very helpful to me, and I thank them for their personalized assistance. Elizabeth Ann really, I feel like, cracked the code for me on which directions I can move with being right-handed and my stitches lie the same, this way. Because there is a strategy to it that you have to mentally figure out. Anyway, I am really enjoying it. I will say I think it's increased my enjoyment of stitching overall. It's been really nice. And my number one favorite thing is using a size 28 petite needle, which feels like you're stitching with a pine needle. But it's amazing. I don't know how you stitch in hand with a long, big old tapestry needle, not a petite, because if I accidentally pick up a regular size, it feels like really weird, but I just love that little tiny, it's wonderful. And like I said, it has completely changed my perspective on blocks of color. I used to avoid starting patterns with blocks of color, which is a big percentage of cross-stitch patterns. Now, it's completely different. It's so weird. I don't know. It's probably because it's so much faster to stitch blocks of color in hand than it is two-handed or poke and stab. So I think the psychology of that is very peculiar and yet wonderful, because now the world is my oyster. The world is my oyster. So let's start with cat chat. Should we? I don't know. If I bring him out here, he might act like a total spaz. Let's try it. So Mr. Willoughby is now 7 months old, and he is taller than Walter. He is a very, very tall cat. Like I said, he's acting like a weirdo. He wants to run around outside, and that's just not an option. His father could stretch up and touch the light switches on the wall. He was so tall. Willoughby is so tall he can... Would you sit still? He's so tall he can touch the kitchen counter. Okay. We're gonna put him back inside. Yeah. He can stretch up and put his paws on the top of the kitchen counter. We think it's really funny to put his treats like on the dining room table, and he will scoop them off with his paw because he's crazy. He's very big, but it's kind of strange to compare him to Walter, who is a very big cat, but he's like bulky. Willoughby is so thin yet so tall that it's kind of deceptive, like how big he is. I don't know. He's a lot of fun, but he's interesting too because he's not a snuggler, and he's not a cat that likes being held to any extent. So I don't know. He's just his own little person, and his favorite thing to do is walk around and meow really loudly. I don't know if you can hear him. Let's talk about some of my favorite things. One of my favorite things is discovering artists on the internet. I love how the internet has really given a voice to anyone who wants to create things, including us with our stitching and sharing it. I belong to a daily creating Facebook group that has prompts for artists of any type. Painters, sculptors, cross-stitch designers, whatever, just to spark creativity. And so whenever I log into Facebook, I see all sorts of wonderful things that people have created. And one thing I just had to have recently was a painting that someone posted on there. Her name is Trish Phillips, and she lives in the UK, and I will put her Instagram account down below, but she posted this painting, and I was like, I love this so much. And she offered to sell me a print of it, and so I bought it, and I put it in a totally ridiculous frame, and I'm going to show it to you now. And my husband thinks the frame is awful and terrible, and you might too. That's okay. I thought it was funny. Oh my gosh. I found this frame at like an antique store. It's not an antique. But here is Trish's artwork, and I thought it was hilarious. She said it was inspired by her own research. She was trying to get slugs out of her garden, and she was looking up different plants that are slug repellents, and one of those is lavender, and there's two other in the picture, but I can't remember what they are. And so here are the slugs fleeing for their lives. And I think it's so funny. And I love the colors that she used. One of the reasons why I was so I felt connected to this piece by Trish because when we lived in our older house, there were slugs everywhere, And I find slugs to be incredibly disgusting. I hate slugs. I mean, I try to like all creatures, but slugs are nasty. Would you agree? So, one day I was researching how to kill slugs, and I, find these different methods of trapping and killing slugs, because I'm not kidding, they were gross. And my daughters overheard me talking about how to kill the slugs, and the next morning I woke up and there were 2 notes on the dining room table from the slugs begging me not to kill them. I will insert a photo if I can find it right here. So I let the slugs live. Turns out I should have just planted some lavender. So anyway, this is one of my favorite things about the internet, because I really love going on Instagram and just supporting people and telling them how much I like their art and being inspired, because we make art too, don't we? Another one of my favorite things has been to try to get my 10,000 steps a day. Is anyone else trying to do this? I usually like 5-8 years behind trends, and so I got a free Fitbit from my insurance, my health insurance rewards program, and I've been wearing it and trying to get my 10,000 steps. It's kind of strange. Sometimes I feel like it's a huge effort. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes I accidentally get like 15,000. It's kind of all over the place, but everyone's been showing their calendar pages, so I'm going to show mine. I've been trying to focus on my health lately, and not to be like super strict, but to try to get back into gear, and so I've been kind of tracking. So this is my planner. It is called a passion planner, and I waited until March to buy one so I could get one for cheap. That's how cheap I am. I wait till March to buy a yearly planner. No, they're kind of a little bit pricey when you buy them in season, and I wanted to try it out, just the style of a planner, to see if I would like it, and I really, really do like it. In the beginning of the year, you make your goals and blah, 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 the stuff. Before, I've been pretty faithfully kind of bullet journaling, list making, not really strict about, I'm a good planner, and I'm a good to-do lister, and I'm a good project organizer, but I really do enjoy this format. It has a row it has a column for every day, has this week's focus, good things that happened this week, and then there's space down here to write to-dos and errands, and then this is the space of infinite possibility, where, to be honest, I just write ideas and things that my husband says are not worthy of the space of infinite possibility. But I really like this style of planner. And then every month it has a monthly reflection to make you think about, okay, what happened this month? It makes you give the month a score. How happy are you with how this month went? What have you learned? What are you grateful for? And I really like that. So anyway, back to my calendar page. I've been trying to do a few different things on my calendar page, including write down how many steps I got that day. So in each square, I've been writing my sleep score. There's another thing I've been focusing on because I've been having some sleeping problems. One question for you guys who do have Fitbits and you wear them when you sleep. Do you find that it's accurate? don't know how accurate mine is, because there have been times where I'm pretty sure it didn't, like, do it right. Tell me about that. Anyway, I've been doing my sleep score, then what whip I worked on. I give myself a grade for my diet for the day. So far this week, I've gotten a B. What I did for exercise, and then how many steps I got. I also put my weight in the top right corner if I weighed myself that day. I don't know, I'm just trying to give myself like an overview of like keeping track. I think that's what I was kind of lacking. I'm not huge on tracking things and measuring everything that happens to you that day, you know, but it does keep me accountable to say, okay, how many steps did I get? Did I eat healthily throughout most of the day? If I didn't, when did I fall off the wagon? The answer is always dinner and after dinner. Anyway, that was just a big long ramble. Another thing that I'm enjoying is my Lindy Stitchers Facebook group is currently having its backyard bird along. This is the event that inspired Edna Goes to Brunch, and we are looking for another grand birdito who will win the prize of being charted by me and enjoyed by everyone. And that goes through April 14th. And so if you would like to submit your bird art or photo, and look, we have number 2 in the window. There's Walter. Welcome. Welcome, my friend. If you would like to share your favorite backyard bird, you can go on to my Lindy Stitchers Facebook group. We already have some strong contenders. I will say it hasn't been as active as last year. I think everyone, because it was the first time last year, everyone was able to like look through their entire bird loving history and submit all of their photos. And so maybe we don't have as much material to share. Are you really going to try to get in that window? Like, I don't think you're going to fit. I think that's a bad idea. So I've been enjoying that. Thanks for the submissions, and we're going to get another great cross-stitch chart happening there. Speaking of birds, I am finishing up the formatting of my May bird sampler, and you guys, I'm trying to scoot over so you can also enjoy the cats. This year's is stunning. I absolutely can't wait to share it with you. It is incredible. I love it so much. So anyway, thank you for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that your spring is a breath of fresh air for you. I'm sure, like myself, you are still recovering from everything that has happened in the last year and a half. It's been rough, and I've had high expectations of myself to, you know, get on with it, get over it, plow on. And I found that it's going to be a process in which I need to be patient with myself. To expect myself to just throw off all the effects and feelings of the things that have happened is unrealistic, and it's not kind. It's not kind to myself, or it's not kind to other people. And so to be patient. And it is spring. It is refreshing and renewing, and yet parts are still hard. And that's okay. That's okay. I would reach out and give you a nice friendly hug and a cup of coffee, and we could sit here on my porch. See? We could sit here on my porch and share with one another if we could. I wish that we could. I will wrap this up. Goodbye, and fare thee well. Do good work. Keep in touch. Till next time, friends. Bye. Hey, did you see my new series in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine? It's called Cats in the Garden. Look at it. Look. You don't want to look at it?